Let's talk a little bit about mindsets. The mindsets are one of the most important aspects of becoming a catalyst and developing your skills in how to do this kind of work. So they really create the foundation for application and learning additional catalyst skills, because it's really those mindsets that enable a lot of the kind of decision making, et cetera. So let's talk about what is a mindset. A mindset are values and beliefs that you hold up here. That's why we call them a mindset. They're things you think and believe and the things you value that guide your decision making and your actions. And so with that definition, you can see how important it is that we cultivate the right mindsets in the work we're going to do. So these mindsets are the foundation of creative, meaningful, and highly impactful work. There's all sorts of mindsets that you can have, but what we focus on the Catalyst program are the mindsets that are going to provide you the values and beliefs that guide your decisions and actions in applying this type of problem solving to your work. And so we really think more so than any specific method or technique that you learn, it's these mindsets that drive your quality work in the program. So there's 7 of them, and I'm going to go through them quickly. So our first one is curiosity and beginner's mind. And this is where you need to let go of your assumptions and what you think you know about what you see. This is extremely important when you're familiar with a situation and you think you know what's going on. Our brains are very adaptive for us, and we block out tons of information that's coming into us. And so what you have to do when you start problem solving in a catalyst way is open up and have fresh eyes and start to observe what's really going on, not what you think is either supposed to be going on or what you expect to be going on. And always listening to hear others' experience when you do this. So you open up and have more curiosity. And so as an example, if I show this photograph of an old workplace of some sort, what does your brain start doing right away as you look at that? Oh, I wonder what that was. What did they do there? What were in those drawers? What did they store? Why did it get dilapidated? Why is it so dilapidated? Right? And so you start asking questions because you're seeing something new and for the first time. When you travel to a new city, your sensory perception is on full bore and you start to pay attention and you look at things and you find the wonder in the world when you do that. That's what you're doing with curiosity and beginner's mind. You're looking at things, and in this case, things that you're quite familiar with, to open back up to see what's happening. Okay, the second one, humility and empathy. So you guys, as we joked for the last couple weeks, you're all type A, high achievers, and what is important is that you leave that notion of accomplishment and your status and the level you are in the organization and the things you've achieved in your career, and you leave that aside and have some humility. Your experience isn't typical compared to the other people you may be designing with, trying to understand their experience, or designing for. So your expertise creates blind spots. And when you become a little bit more humble about what you're doing and you start to have empathy for other people's experience, you start to allow other people to contribute. And you allow new information to come in. That often our accomplishments means that we're usually taking the lead and we're trying to be right in the conversation. So Catalyst is giving you permission to say, hey, I'm going to hold off. I'm going to hear what other people have to say. I'm going to let somebody else take the lead or make the decision in this case. And it's going to be okay. Imagine somebody on your team that hasn't been part of your problem-solving process before, and imagine them coming up with an idea and you saying, yes, we're going to go with that. It's a liberating feeling when you start giving other people a chance to have ideas and make contributions, and you bring your level of need to accomplish things in a project a little bit lower. And then empathy is that ability to understand what it's like for other people and take those other experiences as valid and important to the problem-solving process. And so the example I have here today is remote learning and our children and the way maybe we were or weren't more humble in our hopes and fears and dreams of them learning while they had to learn from home. Now, this comes under incredible stress, which is often what we have at work and in our projects. But when my daughter came home and started learning, I started to, my wife is a little bit more like, do your homework. What are your assignments today? Where are your worksheets? And going at it as if nothing has changed. And I said, let's bring it down a notch and ask her what her experience is like. What is the teacher asking you to do? How are they handling the day in a little teaching time and a little asynchronous time? And listening to them and hearing what their experience is like. And I think that was a big lesson for all of us, even as we're stressed and under pressure and not being able to go to work because we have to be home with our children. So I understand there's that context of stress, but even with that, can we bring it down and hear somebody else's point of view, be more humble, and hear what they're learning? They're really the leaders to tell us how that learning is working in this new context. Not the teachers, not the parents. The kids are. Hope that isn't too controversial. Okay, equity and inclusion, a mindset so critical to problem solving today where we're designing new things because existing systems, existing solutions are inequitable. And they were designed that way. We are getting the results of systems and approaches that were designed in part to be inequitable. But now we have lots of built-in assumptions, and the way we go about things is inequitable in and of itself. And so often we won't include people we are designing for in the process of understanding and ideation and design. Well, what you learn in Catalyst is they are completely a part of that process so that you can get to a more equitable solution. So my example here is when the Cubs were winning or were in the World Series. And I was doing a lot of work on the west side of Chicago, a marginalized community, high levels of poverty, one of the highest rates of unemployment in Chicago. And I was working with my colleagues out there and they were excited about the Cubs. And then I flash forward to that night, I'm watching them on TV and the camera goes across the crowd and I see nothing but a sea of white. Now this isn't new for a lot of you, but this is how bringing our awareness to all of our situations is really important about equity. And so now I'm asking the people who I do business with, who offer tickets to these games, I ask them, hey, how about offering those to others who have not had the chance to go to a game like this, and to start diversifying and bringing other people into the solution of enjoying the national pastime. It's just striking to me. Okay, collaboration. Collaboration is that you're going to do this together and it's going to be better because of it. And a lot of work today is isolated to individuals. You do this, you do this. And this is a result of the Industrial Revolution where jobs were created to be individual jobs that people could do their work and just process work. Well, when you're figuring out new solutions, when you're trying to understand a new problem, when you're creating partnerships, it is a team sport, and I'm going to move right to that. It is a team sport. People will have different roles. That's a good thing. And then can you coordinate the different benefits, values, skills that people bring and create a better solution because everybody's playing a role? So you have to think, you have to have the mindset that this is a team sport and that you're working with others constantly, that you're iterating with each other. Starting small and learning fast. Few big projects that get going and get lots of funding are successful. The failure rate is very high. And this is a result of people trying to do too much all at once. And we have, how many people have heard the phrase, or maybe you use it, go big or go home? Now this is a very bombastic statement and we're gonna go big or go home, but lots of people go big and then they go home because it fails. And so how small can you start? How small can you start to try an idea, bring people into it, test that solution, or test that idea, or put something past somebody, or put something in front of somebody, not past them, and get feedback and learn as you go. When you create a lemonade stand, you don't write a business plan. You don't hire a contractor. You throw some crates together and some broomsticks and a sign made from a sheet or some banner paper. And then you make some lemonade and you offer it for sale. That's a fast iteration, trying something small, and think about how much learning comes from that. Interaction with neighborhood people, the learning that the person gets who's offering. How come people aren't stopping for the lemonade? Well, maybe they can't see you. Let's turn it. Let's turn the lemonade stand, right? Starting small, being modest, and learning fast is going to make your project much better. And a related one, but a different principle, is showing your work early. Don't try to finish your work before you share it. This is the whole reason we have the forums where you can share stuff and discuss it and share your work long before it's ready. And throughout the Catalyst program, we're going to be asking you to share, and on the work sessions on Friday, we're going to ask you to share work with each other for feedback. So you have to continually find ways to knock something out in 10, 15, 30 minutes and then share it with somebody else long before it's finished. That's going to build camaraderie and buy-in with your team, with your people who aren't working on the team. It's going to keep people informed. This whole notion of showing work and not spending 2 or 3 weeks on something on one iteration is a core mindset and principle of the Catalyst program. So what were kids doing in school for 18 years? Every day they do work and show it. And what happens? Well, what state are they in? They're in a state of learning. And so this is the principle we have to bring into Catalyst, that, hey, I might knock out a quick sketch of something, a diagram, a list of people we're going to research. How fast can I show that to somebody else and get some feedback? And there's no risk when you do it early. There's no risk of having to be right. You can show it and go, this is totally wrong, but I'd love to get your feedback on it. People love working with other people who offer that kind of input and openness to problem solving and to contributions to their work. And finally, number 7 is make things tangible. Picking up a pen and paper and drawing and sharing, rearranging a room where you're trying to fix like workflows or something like that. Making things tangible makes the work move forward quicker because people are able to see and experience it and understand it better and give you feedback. If all you're doing is talking or sharing slides and not tangibly making things during your project, you won't move the work forward as fast. And you won't engage people with excitement. When you show possible solutions to people, they get very excited. Here's a quick mock-up I made of the Catalyst national program launch. There's posters in cities around the country as we launch this program nationally. Of course, that's an aspiration and a prototype, and this is just a quick visualization of that idea. But when I say that, and you see the poster, the Catalyst program launch, it's at a bus stop somewhere in a city, and they're all over the country. You get to feel and experience that idea differently than if I just said, at CCI, we're looking to launch this program nationally, right? So this is a downloaded picture. I put some text on top of it in PowerPoint, and it looks like a possible idea that actually is for real. And that allows people to give you better feedback. And it allows them to feel the potential solution in different ways than just talking about it would. So those are the Catalyst mindsets. They're all growth mindsets, which means they all help you to move your work forward, grow as an individual and a professional. They improve relationships with others as you have these mindsets, all from humility to empathy to inclusion. All of these mindsets help you engage others in more and better ways. Okay, and ultimately the goal is to have a better outcome for your project work. So, how are we going to do this? What's the exercise we're going to do? You're going to apply it by doing mindset journaling. So print out the mindsets and post in several places for easy reference. Put it as a screensaver on your phone or your laptop, or just print it out and have it in your planner or on your desk or post it on your wall. And then throughout the day, try to find 1 or 2 times where you can just pause, look at the mindsets, and ask, how might I approach this current thing I'm working on or current thing I'm doing in a different way? What different action or decision might I take because of one of these mindsets? And then write that down and what you did and what you reflected on. Just a quick note, just so you remember what it was. And then at some point, share with us one or more of those stories or those journaling entries with us in the community forum. And I'll show you that in a little bit. The community forum is set up for all people taking the Catalyst training to share ideas, to share experiences, and build on their work with each other.